Bonjour. Hey, fellow adventurers. I am about to head off for a Euro summer. And are you curious to know where I'm going? Well, stick around, watch and see. My cousin and I went on holiday in Paris for the French Open with a bunch of very exciting pit stops and activities. So come along and I'll share with you what we did. So my cousin TJ and I both live on opposite coasts. He's on the East Coast, I am on the West Coast. So I flew from San Francisco to Atlanta and then from Atlanta to Paris. So I arrived first and my cousin met me at the Airbnb. So after getting settled into the Airbnb, we had some snacks. We were a little bit jet lagged, but day two, we wasn't playing. We were off to the races. We started our day at the Arc de Triomphe. Bonjour. Hi friends. There's TJ. TJ made it. It's my YouTube channel. Jokes. We're at the Arc de Triomphe. Then we walked through the tunnel and went down to the Champs-Élysées. We're about to go to Champs-Élysées for some shopping. All right, we're on the Champs-Élysées. There's a government drone. You see how I turned around because I spotted it? Oh gosh, I don't think I ever verbalized that I believe all pigeons are government drones, but there you have it. We took a brief stop to possibly shop at Louis Vuitton and Dior, which was pretty much on the main strip of Champs-Élysées, but the queue was so long, I wasn't having it. And we had time, so I didn't feel the need to stop and sit in the queue, but we stopped at Nike and I got a new pair of Dunks, which are my favorite kind of shoes, to swap out my shoes that I was wearing. I was wearing Chuck Taylors, which are not comfortable to be walking all around the streets of Paris. And I just knew I was about to be tearing those streets down. So after we stopped at Nike, did a little bit of shopping there, we stopped to have lunch at Le Deauville. It was pretty good. My cousin had seafood. I had chicken. My chicken was a bit dry, but the sauce really helped. After that, we hopped in an Uber and we went over to Dior and Louis Vuitton on a very much less busy street. And I started scouting, trying to figure out what bags that I had on my wish list that I wanted to look at. And my cousin went ahead and he bought some cute items for his mom while we were at the Dior store. We went back to Louis Vuitton in this other area that wasn't the Champs-Élysées, and the queue was so long. So I just decided to push it to the next day. So we continued our explorations over to the Moulin Rouge. We cut down a rue to enjoy some crispy sole, which was a really bomb fried chicken spot with tons and tons of American culture items showcased to show where the influence came from. That was it for the day, and we called it a day. So then day 3, we set out to go to the Louvre. Let me tell you something about how hard it was to get these tickets to the Louvre. And that could be a whole story in itself. All of my card companies said decline each time I tried to swipe my card online to get the tickets. So we had to go in person and thug it out in the queue. Unfortunately, the first day that we went, it was pouring down raining and we were not going to wait in the queue in the rain. Even though we did go through one of the little tunnels to sit and wait as well, the queue was just too long. So we decided to wait for the rain to stop a little bit. Then we took a stroll around Paris to see the sights. And then we popped over into the Musée d'Orsay. So after the museum, we went back to Dior so I could purchase my bag. I had purchased some tea and a pastry while I waited on my sales associate, Khadija. Let me tell you something. One thing about me, I'm going to shop with a black person. It does not matter. She was getting commission from me because she was a black woman, period. We started accessorizing my bag, picking out what customizations I wanted on the bag. And then once I finished, I left my bag with Khadija to wrap it up for me. And while she did that, I headed over to Louis Vuitton to grab some Neverfulls for me and my bestie. And once I checked out, we went back to pick up my bag at Dior and we were off to get dinner. We ate at a restaurant called Bar Naan, which was an Indian fusion restaurant. And I will be honest, it was not good. I give it a 2 out of 5. I will say that I did enjoy that they had a passport looking menu, which was really fun. But overall, it just was not that great. We headed back to the Airbnb and called it a night. So the fun thing was the fact that the Louvre was one of those things on our list that was like, yeah, we've got time to figure it out, but also we wanted to get in there and get it out of the way. So day 4, we went to the Louvre. I had to make sure that I was joining the exclusive club of Black women posed in front of the Mona Lisa. And I did that, okay? Yay! But also when we were going through the Louvre, I just kept wondering to myself, why are there so many naked statues with tiny peepees in here? But again, I became part of the elite club of Black women in front of the Mona Lisa. We enjoyed every floor and every room. We took a stroll through some gardens, saw some art installations in the wild, and then we ended up coming back home because we were wiped out. But not too wiped out to go out and have ourselves a drink. Day 5, we decided to go to the Eiffel Tower and for a boat ride. So could you imagine the night before drinking and then going to ride on a boat on a river? Yeah, I didn't think about that either. But when in Paris, must do it all. So we decided to go to the Eiffel Tower in a boat ride. And also, ever since getting in a pedicab in Austin, if a place has one, I'm absolutely taking it. Call it reparations. So we pedicabbed over to have some lunch at L'Artisan, which had a Michelin star in 2018. So that does count as Michelin star meal, right? Anyways, after eating, I stopped at some souvenir shops to grab some trinkets for my family. And then we set sail. My cousin and I were able to enjoy a lot of beautiful scenes along the river. We got to see the Eiffel Tower from the water, and I really, really enjoyed it because we were here before the Olympics. So we didn't even know that this was where they were going to be floating and sailing during the opening ceremony of the Olympics. But it's nice to say that I rode it before all of the Olympians did and the rest of the world watched them. So after that, we decided to head back to the B&B to take a nap because we wanted to, again, get another sample of the Parisian nightlife. We absolutely went out and we went dancing. We had the time of our life at Club Vendôme, and we did not come back into the house until, I want to say like 4. No, it was 6 a.m. because the sun was up. We had a time. But I also learned too, after speaking to most of the Black people that we saw while we were out, that most Black people don't go out on Friday nights in Paris when it's kind of cold or chilly. But we made it do what it do. The next day, it was time to set our sights on the French Open. So after that, we were already in the vicinity of Roland Garros Stadium. So we stopped over at the Jardin Botanique, Botanical Gardens, before we headed back to do a little more shopping. So on the way, it started raining. We decided that we wanted to do some shopping at La Place Vendôme. From my understanding, a very popular area where most celebs shop. We walked that strip. We stopped at David Yurman. I got some jewelry there. We got some more souvenirs, and then I bought some gifts for friends and family from Gucci and Chanel. My cousin got himself a Burberry trench. You better watch out, Nicki Minaj, because he was styling on him in his Burberry trench. And then we popped over into Louis Vuitton to see if they had a piece that was not the other. And guess who we saw? Serena Williams. So after that, we left the area to go to our last stop of the day, which was a local bookshop where I was able to browse magazine and get a few French books before we headed to a speakeasy cocktail bar in the basement of a taco bar. It was everything that you could imagine. We knocked on a secret mirror glass door. We walked through. We walked down a spiral stairwell. And we were at a speakeasy. It was a bar. We enjoyed some really, really, really good French cocktails, and our bartender was incredible. The drinks were boozy, and we absolutely stumbled our way back to our B&B. So that was the first part of our trip. You'll have to tune in for the next to see what else we did. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you can be notified when I upload my next video and let you guys in on the second part of the French Open along with my pictures and videos. See you later. Bye, friends.